Okay, we will start with the introduction to CSS, right? As you know, you are using a CSS for a presentation purpose or visibility of the HTML elements in a better way on the browser side. For the reason we are using a CSS. So we have discussed this up to this one browser adaptation. Now we will discuss regarding a CSS syntax, right? How can we write the CSS, right? Yeah, you learned a basic introduction of a CSS in the previous classes. Now we will learn a CSS syntax here. Syntax represent how to write the CSS. A CSS document consists of one or more style rules. A rule consists of a selector that identifies the HTML element or HTML elements that will be affected, followed by a series of property colon value pairs. So what the definition says, or say what these lines will says, to write the CSS, there are style rules are there. How can we write the style rules? You have to follow two important points as selector. First point is a selector. Second point is a property value pair. Selector will identify the HTML elements, and by the property value pair you are applying the CSS on that element, right? Elements, as you know, it's headings are there, paragraphs are there, right? Tables, lists, right? So many HTML elements are there. So to select those elements you need a selector first of all. Later on, to apply the CSS, or say to apply the visibility properties on the elements, you need a property value pairs. Clear? These are the two main important, selector and property value pairs in a writing of a CSS syntax. We'll take one example. Here selector bracket property colon value semicolon property to colon value semicolon bracket completes. This is a one way of writing a syntax of a CSS. Here a property colon value, we will consider it as a declaration. So two declaration can be separated by the semicolon. That's very important. Two declarations can be separated by a semicolon, not a colon. It's a semicolon. So you can write this in a single line, or one by one you can write. After the property value, this is a semicolon. Property to colon value can be written in next line. After that you can close here by using a this one bracket. So this the pairs of a property value, this declaration, different declarations all together we will consider it as a declaration block. That is a one simple syntax. So one more is that a selector property value. It's a second one. Again you can write a third one as in this way. This is an example, right? It's a syntax. These are the example. EM color colon red. Here in a EM color colon red, EM is a selector as you learned here. Color is a property. Here we are having a property. Red is a value. So we used only the one property value pair here. Okay. Similarly, more than one property value pairs with the P. It's a paragraph. We are applying the CSS on the paragraph. Clear? Margin, font weight, font family. These are the property. Regarding a value, these are the values. Bold, Arial. Okay. These are the values. The series of declaration is also called as a declaration block. That is, a series of a declaration is also called as a declaration block. As one can see in the illustration, that is in an example, a declaration block can be together on a single line. You can write this declaration block in a single line, or spread across the multiple line, You can use a multiple lines here to write this declaration block. Now next is the browser ignores the white spaces, that is a space, tabs, or a return between your CSS rules. So you can format the CSS however you want. Notice that each declaration is terminated with a semicolon. Each declaration is terminated with a semicolon. Here it is a semicolon. The semicolon for the last declaration in the block is in fact optional. In the last declaration, as given here, in the last declaration you can have the semicolon or you cannot. It's an optional one, but a best practice is that better to add here. However, it is a sensible practice to also terminate the last declaration with a semicolon as well, in the sense that you can add the semicolon at the end. Clear? That is regarding the syntaxes. 2 points, selector and declaration block. Here, what are the selectors? How can we write the selectors here? Every CSS rule begin with a selector. The selector identifies which element or elements in the HTML document will be affected by the declaration in the rule. Clear? What is the need of a selector? By using a selector, which element you are affecting with the CSS, that's given here. Another way of thinking of a selector is that they are a pattern that is used by the browser to select the HTML elements that will receive the style. They are a variety of ways of writing a selector, right? In another way, they are saying it is used for applying the CSS or say properties of a visibility. Now next is a properties. We told here property and value pair. Here property and value pair will become a declaration. No? Then what exactly the property is there? We considered here the property, one property as a color, margin, font weight, font family. These are the properties. Now we will discuss regarding the properties. Each individual CSS declaration must contain a property, right? The declaration should have a property. These property names are predefined by the CSS standards. It's very important. These are predefined like keywords in a you learn in a C program. Similarly, these properties are already defined in a CSS standards. The CSS 2.1 recommendation defines over 100 different property names. So some types of reference guide, whether in a book, online or within your web development software, can be helpful. They given us something like a property, the list which is we consider it as a CSS 2.1. These are the property. It's a property type, of course. These are the property you have to use in a CSS. Font family, font size, like again a text, the color, background color, color, border you can use, right? It's a small set, right? There are a huge set can be available. It's a small set, right? You have to practice individual with the examples. Then only you will get to know what's the use of these all the property. Now is a values, right? Property, after this property, one more is a value here. We are discussing now the value. We discussed a selector, we discussed a property, and we are discussing now a value. Okay, before going to this one, we will execute one example, right? In a simple example to say. Okay, we'll take this as a one example, right? This is how we can apply the CSS. Here, this P is a selector. P is a selector represent where in a body this element is present. In a body, what you are having a paragraph. What is there? A KLCD chickbody. So this is a HTML element. We have to apply CSS on that. To apply a CSS on that, that is a element P paragraph. This is a selector. The name of the selector is a P here. So what you are applying the CSS here? You are applying a text alignment as a center, color as a red, margin, font weight, font family, right? These are these properties you are applying here. When you run this KLCD chickbody, right? If it is a red color, if you want to make something like a color to be changed as a blue, you can just change here blue and save it and refresh the pages. Here it is changed with the blue, and you are applying the CSS on that, right? So this is here it is a selector, and color is a property, blue is a value. Okay, more than one property value pairs are there, or say declaration blocks are there. Declaration block, this is a complete declaration block. So now we will move for the value. What's the values? As we gone with one example, that is a color colon red or a blue we made there. Red or a blue, that is a value. Clear? We are discussing that point here now. Each CSS declaration also contains a value for the property. A unit of any given value is dependent upon the property. Some property values are from a predefined list of colors, keywords. So again, value can be written here with some predefined keyword. Like a red is, we are using a red now. That's also predefined one. Other are values such as the length, measure, percentage numbers without units, color values, and URL. Right? Some are predefined. Other are you can give your own values there. Clear? Like red here in the red RGB representation, you can give your own colors here. Right? That represents the different colors. We are taking one example as a values for color property. As a property you are using color. For this color, what are the values you are representing here, or what are the values you are considering? These are all the values. Now here we will take a color, right? Name. Use one of the 7 standard color names, right? Color name we are giving a red, like you can use a 17 colors, but in a CSS3 the version 140 standard names can be used. 140 standard names can be used, like a red or a gray, yellow, black, like you can have hot pink. That can be used in a CSS3 only. Hot pink, like something like that color is available. So now different ways of representing colors, right? The values, how can we give the values for the color? In a different ways. The values of the property color in a different ways, right? First, that's a name you are giving, right? You are giving the name for the color, like red, hot pink, something like you are giving the name. Second one, RGB. What do you mean by RGB? Red, green, blue combination you are giving. Uses 3 different numbers between 0 and 255 to describe the red, green, and blue values of the color. Just you can consider, this is a portion of a red, this is a portion of a green, and this is a portion of a blue. If you are considering a 255 0 represent, just you are giving a maximum strength to the red, 0 to the green, 0 to the blue. Then this RGB color is represented with the red color. Clear? If you are giving a 255, 105, 180, again it is a combination of the colors, right? It is not only the red. If it is a 255, then it is a red representation. Again you are giving a blue, green and blue. Then the combination color will give there. It is not a red. The combination color is given here. That's a RGB representation. Hexadecimal representation, in the sense that it is a 2 bits which is represented with a single color. That is a FF represented is for the red, again a 2 bits for the green, again 2 bits for the blue. That's a 6-digit hexadecimal numbers to represent the or describes the red, green, and blue values for the colors. Each of the 3 RGB value is between a 0 and FF, which is nothing but 255 in a decimal. In a decimal to represent 255, in a hexadecimal it is a FF. Notice that the hexadecimal number is preceded by the hash symbol or a pound symbol. The hash symbol is starting with the hash symbol with a 6 digits representation within an hexadecimal. And here A represent is a alpha value, or it's a transparency we can say. Again HSL is a hue saturation color can be used here. We will have some examples on this one. We will have examples on this one. How the colors can be represented. Okay, where it is. Yes, just I took a part here, right? I took a part here. I think it is visible to you. So I am using a Mallappa Guru. It's a my name. I'm using a Mallappa Guru, but I am representing the colors in a different way. It's the first one is a name we are using, red. After that RGB 255. Some color I am using by using a RGB combination. Then hexadecimal I am using, right? Again RGB for this one. What's the A? Alpha value, that is a transparency, you are mentioning transparency. After 3 values, in the sense that 4th if you are using, that is a transparency. Again it is a hue saturation. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 5 these headings H1 I am using, and we will see how the colors are going to change here. Just I want to run this one. Yes. See here. These are the colors with the different values we given. Red. After the red, this is not a red actually, because here the some values are changed here, 105 and 180. That's a combination color you will get. That's a combination. Here no, one more is that you mentioned it here is it has a red. Now 2 bits are representing red. If I will make it as a 0 0, I will make it as a, sorry, I will make it as a 0 0. Later on 2 bits here, I will make it as a FF. What do you mean by here? It's a red, green, blue. Now what is the color here you are applying? Only the green. For the red you are making it as a 0, for the blue you are making it as a 0. Only the green color you are applying for this third one, and I will save here, and third I will execute here. Just a third one, it should be changed to the green. Yes, of course it is changing the color to the green. That's a applying the colors, right? This is a one example, right? You can practice all the things, right? You can practice all the things. You will get to know the concept behind the examples. This is regarding a values. Okay. This is some theory part. Just I will go through. Just as there are multiple ways of specifying a color in a CSS, so too there are multiple ways of specifying units of a measurement, right? Just we are given the values there in a color, not only in a color, in a different ways to use. We are using some measurements and some units there. When working with a print design, we generally make use of a straightforward absolute units, such as inches or centimeters and picas or points, right? Directly we are using some measurement calculations, these units. However, because different devices have different physical size as well as a different pixel resolution, and because the user is able to change the browser size or its zoom mode, these absolute units don't always makes the sense with the web elements measures. This paragraph explains you that we are not giving static values. We are changing the values depending on the situation, depending on the this screen size, also depending on the circumstances. We are changing the value. That is a relative. So its paragraph is indicating you that we are using not only the static value, but also the dynamic values we are using. Static value is nothing but that is the absolute value. Dynamic value representing changing with relative. That's a relative values. That's given in the last paragraph. So table 3.3 lists the different units of a measure in a CSS. Some of these are relative units, in that they are based on the values of something else, such as the size of the parent element. Others are absolute units, in that they have a real world size. What do you mean by relative? The values are going to change depends on, there is a dependency in the relative units, depends on parents. Absolute represent direct value you are giving, absolute value you are giving, or static value you are giving here in the absolute representation. In the values, in the color you learned in a different ways of we are giving the colors and the values to give, either it may be absolute or it may be a relative one. Clear? Here are some examples, right? Px is there, em is there, percentage, again rem is there, inch, centimeter. What are the types here they given here, whether they are absolute or whether they are relative or not, right? So we will take one example here. Rem, we will take a rem. What do you mean by rem? Stands for a root em, which is a font size of the root element. Unlike em, which may be different for each element. Em is here. Em is a relative here. Relative represent which changes according to their parents, right? We'll take this example, rem and em, and we will try to convince this how the relative and absolute are going to change their meanings. So I think it is visible to you. See here, let me consider here in the root way to say first comes the HTML. Within the HTML you are having a head, again you are having a body. So HTML I will make it as a parent. Then HTML, what is the font size of HTML? I made it as a 14px. What is the px here? We given here the value px as a absolute value we are giving. Absolute represent pixel value is absolute. We are given a 14 or a 12 like. Clear? Absolute value we are given to the parent. Clear? So what about the next one? Division. Division 1 px solid. 3 RAM. 3 RAM represent, it's a font size. Here it is a font size, we are comparing with a font size of a 14. And here a division is a font size of 3 RAM, represent 3 times the parent. Parent is having a 14, 3 into 14 will be the font size of this division. 3 RAM represent, it's a root element changing. Root element, what is a root element? HTML. So here there is a HTML, within the HTML you are having a paragraph, again you are having a division. Am I right? Top is a division. Here you are given the ID for this one. Again division is nothing but a division for this one, and for one more division here is this one, right? Top, what you are given the top is giving a 2 RAM of the root. What is the root here? Root is a 14. RAM represent root em represent always the comparison, or say always the values is changing according to the root. Em represent, it is for a its near parent. RAM represent the root value changing. So HTML is a 14, division is a 3 RAM, and it's a 3 into 14, that's a pixel you are assigning here for the font size. Hash top division, this division element represent for this paragraph. For this paragraph you are applying 2 RAM represent 14 into 2, that is a font size you are applying for the hash top division. Now we will execute this code, and what the output we will get here. Yes, clear? This is a HTML font size. This is a HTML font size, that is a 14 one. Where it is a 14? Here it is a paragraph within the HTML. No, this is a 14 size you are applying. That is the font size of this document is a it's a 14 I applied, just you change it as for a 14. Okay, it's a 14 size. After that this division, this paragraph is again a 14. And what about this division you made here? For a division, it's a 3 RAM represent 14 into 3. Which division? One division you are having, one more division you are having here, right? Yes, top you are having a different size, that is a top is nothing but 2 RAM, and other division is a 3 RAM, that is the size available here. Clear? It is a 2 RAM, it is one for a 3 RAM. Okay, this is regarding